Say tricks.
Our super is Gathering Storm for the big boss damage. Our dodge and melee is user's choice because we won't usually be using their base forms. That said, I went with Gambler's Dodge so my dodge refunds my melee, and Combination Blow so my melee refunds my dodge. Instead of using those abilities, most of the time we will be using Ascension to grant us an air move that jolts nearby enemies but consumes our dodge, and Tempest Strike that allows us to perform a sliding melee that also jolts enemies. It also grants us a stack of Bolt Charge when we kill jolted enemies. The Grenade is also user's choice. I went with Arc Bolt because it has one of the shorter cooldowns and I like it. We will be combining our grenade with Spark of Shock so that our grenade will also jolt our enemies. Then we are using Spark of Beacons so that our arc heavy weapon will blind enemies by releasing a blinding explosion when we get a kill. The Spark of Discharge will create an ionic trace from our arc weapon kills and will cause ionic traces to grant us a stack of Bolt Charge when collected. Spark of Ions will generate ionic traces from our Bolt Charge kills and killing a jolted enemy. Spark of Recharge is an optional choice, but as you will see later, my strength stat is very low. When we reach critical health, our grenade and melee regen will be boosted by 400%, so I chose this fragment to boost my melee uptime for more Tempest Strikes. Our exotic armor is Gifted Conviction. Gifted Conviction will improve our Ascension and Tempest Strike by causing them to throw out 3 explosives that track to enemies to jolt and damage them. It also grants us a damage resist buff that can last for 10 seconds and can stack up to 3 times. The first stack gives us 25% damage resist, the second stack gives 40%, and the third stack gives 50%. Keep in mind that you can only obtain 1 stack of damage resist per jolt source activation, regardless of how many enemies you jolt. This means you need to use all 3 of your abilities in order to get 3 stacks of damage resist. Our exotic weapon is the Trinity Ghoul Exotic Bow. Trinity Ghoul fires an arrow that splits into 3 projectiles. Aiming down sights or fully drawing the bow will cause the 3 arrows to have a tighter spread. Precision kills with the bow will trigger the Lightning Rod perk, which grants our next shot chain lightning abilities. It is important to note that this shot is simply that, just regular chain lightning, and it is not jolt, nor does it apply jolt, but it does behave similarly to jolt and will complement the jolt from our abilities. The best use of this weapon in this build is to apply jolt with one of your abilities and then shoot the ground or an enemy with Trinity Ghoul to release its chain lightning, which will then trigger the jolt on our jolted enemies. For our legendary weapons, you can run your favorite special weapon in the kinetic slot. I decided to run the Glaive Refusal of the Call with Sword Logic and Replenishing Aegis. These buffs complement the weapon, but do not complement the build. For better build synergy, you could run something with Strategist or Pugilist. Our heavy weapon needs to be something arc. I ran 2 different weapons depending on the task at hand. For most gameplay, I used the Bequest sword with Surrounded and Relentless Strikes. This sword pairs very well with Spark of Beacons to blind our enemies. After getting your first kill, everything around you will be blinded, enabling you to safely pick them all off one by one. When I needed to boost my boss damage a bit, I used the Watchful Eye machine gun with Overflow and Jolting Feedback. This potent perk combo will have you jolting the boss repeatedly and never reloading as long as ammo bricks are around. For our armor stats, we want to focus on discipline, resilience, and recovery. If you can get all 3 to 100, that is perfect. I could only pull off 90 resilience, but I didn't feel squishy by doing so. Then, try to get your mobility and strength as high as possible. If you can't raise them much, don't worry, I couldn't either. But it's okay because we have Spark of Recharge and some armor mods to help us get them back fast enough. For our helmet, we have 1 Ashes to Assets, so our grenade kills give us bonus super energy, then 2 Harmonic Siphons to really take advantage of all the easy kills we will get with Trinity Ghoul by spawning an orb that grants 3.25% super energy. On our arms, we have 1 firepower, so our grenade kills grant us an orb, 1 melee kickstart to give us about 21.7% melee energy back after expending our melee charge, and 1 fastball because it's all I had space for. On our chest, we will utilize whatever damage resist mods will benefit us the most for whatever activity we are doing. On our legs, we have 1 recuperation for 70 health on orb pickup, 1 orbs of restoration for 10% energy to our lowest ability, and 1 absolution for 5% energy to all 3 of our abilities on orb pickup. On our class item, we have 2 powerful attraction mods so that if we happen to use our regular dodge, then we will grab any orbs within 18 meters. Then we have 1 proximity ward to grant us a 200 health overshield while we are using our finishers. And because it's pretty much the only thing I could choose that didn't rely on using our class ability or would compete with our melee kickstart. When entering combat, use either Ascension, Tempest Strike, or your grenade to apply Jolt to your enemies. You will likely get at least 1 arc damage kill, which will grant Lightning Rod to Trinity Ghoul. Then, fire your arrow at the ground or at an enemy to trigger the jolt that was just applied with the arrow's chain lightning. If things get hairy, use your arc heavy weapon to blind the enemies around you. Then, rinse and repeat until satisfied. For boss phases, start by casting Gathering Storm on the boss. Then switch to your Watchful Eye with jolting feedback to continue triggering and reapplying Jolt. If your Watchful Eye also has overflow, then strategically pick up ammo bricks to reload the magazine. When your heavy runs out, throw your grenade to reapply Jolt, or use one of your other 2 abilities. Then continue damaging the boss using your special weapon while using your abilities to apply Jolt as necessary. Thanks for watching, have a good one y'all.